And I've had an opportunity over the years to work with many, many businesses and business owners and managers. Frankly, and I'm a pretty simple guy, but there are really three key questions that you have to answer. What, so what, and now what? The what are the trends that are going on that are affecting your particular business, the trends that are going on in your industry, and we're going to talk about those in a moment. So what are the implications to those trends? Both the implications for your industry broadly, but most importantly, the thing you care about in your business, what are the implications for you and your business and your team? And then finally, the now what? And that's the tactics. How are we going to get at those implications? What are we going to do to address them? And you guessed it, it gets harder as you go. Right? And just think of it as a funnel. The what's the broad, what's going on in the industry, the so what are the implications, and the now what, that's the tactical piece, and we'll talk about all three. So that's the now what. Now, so you think about it from a retailer perspective, the key is, yeah, that's great, and some of those macro trends, I absolutely see those, and I even see evidence of those in my local area, no question about it, but the real question starts getting into the important two, and that is so what and then now what. Well, let's start with the so what. In fact, we're going to give you time later on in this workshop to really work through these with the other members of your team that are here today and give you a chance to really specifically say, what's that mean to me? All right, so let me give you some areas that I believe are critical that you've got to address when you think about implications to your retail business. First one is we do have to start with the most important, and that is customers. Based on the trends, based on what I see going on in my market, what is that customer of the future going to look like? And the one that I believe that we are best able to serve. Have I really developed a system? Have I put things in place to take care of that particular type of customer? Again, it's not a shotgun approach. It's not everything to everybody. Are we really focused in on the customer that we believe we have the best opportunity to serve and to serve well? So it starts there. That's one area. So you need to really encourage you. Think hard about who's that customer going to be. Be as dispassionate about it as you can. You may not even, and I'll give you one real quick, simple hint, and I've seen it in lots of businesses of various sizes. You may not even like that customer as you really think about them out of the gate. Maybe you haven't had great experiences, but it's about where's the market headed. It's about going to where it's going to be, not where it is. That's the discussion you and your team need to have. So once we determine who those customers are, from there then, there are some other areas that I believe are critical when you think about the so what, the implications to a retailer. The first one is labor. All right, so both your current labor force, are we training them in the right way? Do they know the right things? Do they have the right skill set? But also your future labor force. What kind of person is that targeted customer? This always goes back to the customer. What kind of person do they want to focus on? What kind of person will they find of value? So that becomes a huge, huge discussion point and focal point for you when you think about implications. Another is marketing. How are we going to market to that target customer? What is our product offer going to be? What kind of promotion makes the most sense? What kind of pricing schema makes the most sense? What kind of even distribution model? Do we need another store, or do we need delivery trucks? Think about it really hard. Where's that market going? What's it going to look like as we move forward in the future? From there then, it gets internal a bit. Operations. What kind of systems are we going to need to put in place to make this work based on where we see the market going? So again, it's one thing to know the what, but it really does become critical to begin to think about what are the implications? What kind of systems are we going to need to make this work? Do we have the right point of purchase system? Do we have the right customer relationship management system? Do we even have the right kind of system of communicating with one another internally to make it as efficient as we possibly can? So those become critical questions. From there, then, you do have to talk about facilities. I've already mentioned it a little bit. Got to be honest with you, folks. I'm not sure bricks and mortar is the answer. It's certainly not in every case. It's about logistics and quick movement of product out there to the marketplace. How can we do that most efficiently? Can we partner with someone? Do we have to own all the assets ourselves? I think those are things you have to really, really ask yourself if you're going to really do a good job of, again, strategically thinking about what, so what, and now what. And then finally, the last one, and this is one that I always find interesting, growth. Had a guy say to me the other day, a retailer, that, you know what, I tell you, I just don't know. You know, all these businesses talk about growth, and man, if we just stay the same, we'll be excited about that. I got one challenge for you if you believe that's true. Help me understand why the kind of person that you need to address the needs of the emerging customer, why that kind of employee would want to come to a business whose mantra is, we just hope to stay the same. I don't know many top flight employees that want to work in an organization like that. That's just one reason why growth is critical. Forget access to capital and expansion opportunities and all those kind of things. But here's the strategic piece you need to consider. How are we going to grow? Are we going to grow organically? In other words, we're going to do more of what we do and get better at that and get more business that way? Or are we going to grow through acquisition? Or are we going to have some kind of combination of the two? But here's the thing you can't do. You can't just hope it happens. Remember, hope's not a strategy. Right? It's about being intentional. And so that's what I'm going to ask you to really think hard about in your breakout as you think about where you're going. So those key things, the customers, where they're going, what kind of labor are we going to need, what's our marketing scheme going to need to be, operations, facilities, and then what's our growth strategy moving forward. You do that, you'll get a long, long way down the road to really doing a great job of strategically thinking about the most critical piece, which is coming. And we told you this up front, right? It gets harder. And that's the now what. But of course, that's another discussion.